Dear friends, good evening. Maybe it's good afternoon. Hello, hello everyone, wherever you are. Hello, Alexey. How are you doing? I'm going to tell you just that, how I'm doing. In fact, today is a very important day because what you're going to hear today is exactly what was sorely missed, which is going to provide you with a lot of motivation and understanding that it is very easy to scale up your business with that globally with very ambitious goals. Okay, I see a lot of plus signs and tens people can see and hear as well. I see a person is writing to us, I need to find out how to replace my, exchange my DNC tokens. People have been doing it for months already on the end. Victor is writing back, I'm sitting down now not to fall down. Victor remembers our announcements from the previous time that you will have to be sitting tight for the next announcement. This is absolutely true. Please find a very comfortable seat because today we're going to have a very brief webinar. Maybe we'll take a few questions, but it's going to be super powerful with a very interesting product, which we are prepared to announce today for you and tell you in detail how it's going to work. I guess we can start with the slides first, right? Without further ado, let's do it the adult way. Okay, let's do it. First, we'll tell you the prequel of how we arrived to this moment. Okay, I will tell you how it all started. At the moment, we have about a bit more than 5 petabytes of memory in cloud. And from the very beginning, when we were just launching this technology, there were clients, and we continue to have those clients as pending clients who are observers sitting on the fence, so to say, but what we encounter is that we cannot take on board large clients. It is the big clients now who, not, I wouldn't say standing at our door, but sometimes are coming to our office, knocking on our door, asking how we are doing. But to be perfectly honest with you, the size of our cloud is not expanding as quickly as we would want it to. So we are facing a dilemma. Either we continue at the same pace as we have now, but it's not really comfortable. And it is well known that in business, certain things like speed, we understand that it's important to come up with an MVP, then develop it further and improve it. But in spite of the fact that technology is protected by IP, intellectual property, we have all the certificates thinkable, but not only us are working on this technology. Yes, we have made a progress. We are much farther away and quicker than other teams, but still, other teams and competitors are working on this as well. And we realize that the first clients, but rather not the clients, but the first companies who will offer to the world the truly decentralized solution will start capturing all the major clients from the market. I'll try to say it in a different way. Try to imagine that you want to put together a search engine like Google. It's unlikely that you will capture the whole world, even if you make it more interesting. If you don't make something totally different, of course, like in the field of artificial intelligence, like OpenAI, for instance, who are working now on search engines which are powered by AI. It is seriously different from what Google has to offer. And we could say that Google as a search engine technology is getting obsolete. But still, even if we officially say that Google is already totally obsolete, many years will pass since we will be able to say that. But Google were among the first search engines that scaled up and found its footing on the market. The same is happening in the decentralization market. There is Web 3.0, looks like decentralization, but it's not truly decentralization that many crypto enthusiasts like calling a maximum accessible decentralization at the moment. Now there is a technology, DexNet technology, which has created a full, truly ultimate, total decentralization. And I will repeat once again, we're not the first working on this technology. Yes, we were the first to succeed, but if we don't take on board our clients with this solution, unfortunately, we'll stay where Yahoo is standing now, or others that Google caught up with and did much better than them. We need disk space much more than 5 petabytes because we already have clients who want to have more than 5, 8, 10, 20 petabytes. And we were looking for a solution, and the idea was born about half a year ago. Anyway, late last year, it started to circulate in our heads, and we put it in real life. Before that, I will add another thing, why that idea was born in the first place. First, what Alexey said, and we mentioned it a number of times because there are real cases, real clients who need that. Second factor, which really pushed it and helped us better focus on this, is that we have a product. It is a premium product, a product which is not readily available for all, to be really honest. $1,750 is not what every second person can afford to buy and hold it at home. So this is the second thing why we decided to look in that direction. It is important for us to make sure that the scale up is done quickly because the world is moving quickly. You see what is happening. Many things are changing over year and new technologies are added on. Sometimes we are running, but we cannot have enough momentum. So we need to run even quicker. And the product that we're going to offer to you now is going to give a new additional boost or a leap in that direction of the scale up of our ecosystem and technology in general. That is why these are the two most important factors why we arrived at this realization. And now I'm going to, Alexey will tell you about this idea. Anyway, guys, what we have arrived at, I will tell you now. We want to offer to you today a virtual node. I will tell you about the virtual node, and then I will use some technical terms trying to explain how it works and why we need it. What is a virtual node? Actually, it's almost like the same DEX node that you have at your home, that hexagon. The only difference is that this node does not have to be delivered. You don't need to keep an eye on that 24/7. It's not using your home-based internet or your power supply. How does the virtual node work? We have struck a deal with a number of data centers. They are large global data centers who have data center there's a legal notion and there is a physical notion of that. So the legal notion of data center has some physical data centers located in different continents. And the solution that we have found for ourselves is that we can deploy in such data centers sizable servers who are going to perform DexNet functions. This physical DEX nodes are going to be connected into the same network with DexNet network, and they will also keep fragments of the files. The only thing that the virtual nodes won't do, they're not encrypting information in containers. They're not splitting it up into fragments and then de-encrypting it. So basically, they can keep fragments of data, and the only difference from DEX point is that the movement is done much quicker because the throughput capacity of data centers is much greater than your personal mobile phone. So we will be using the technology where data file is encrypted in a container. It's then split up into different fragments. And now we're talking about triple replication. Before that was 5 times replication. We decided with time that triple replication would be more than enough. And the physical network made up of DEX nodes, by splitting the file by fragments, is placing it not only in physical nodes, but also on virtual nodes, moving thus further than that. This way, we have a physical network made up of DEX nodes. We have more than 5,000 of them located in more than 60 countries, and which is handling the file distribution among virtual data centers. And when we came to such a solution, we realized that we can connect to our DexNet network a server with a few terabytes of memory, or like petabyte of memory. And even if we have such three servers in different continents, then the disconnection of one of the servers is not going to deactivate users' access to their information because other servers will be connected with each other. The only problem we encountered is how to make sure that we don't have access to those servers or those data centers, because at that moment we have a vulnerability. God forbid if some one of our program developers will be hacked or will be coerced into giving up the access to those systems. And we wanted to be scalable to make sure that the access to virtual DEX nodes would also be decentralized. Neither my team or I or Igor, somebody else who we don't even know wouldn't would have this login and password, not being motivated to share it with anybody. That's how we came up with an idea of virtual node, which can be activated by a user by choosing from the list of data centers the one which they like the most because of the title of something else. Then the users out of this chosen data centers create an account or create a microserver. All the instructions will be provided to you, and it's 1,000 times easier than it sounds, actually, because I understand that this AMA session has some technically educated guys. I just want to share this information with them first so that they understand how it works. It will greatly reduce the overall load on our tech support and the companies itself with the questions, tell me please how it works. So my goal now is to use the technical terminology. I will try to use less of the arcane terminology, but to deliver this information in such a way that technically educated guys would understand how it works. So you create an account in this data center. That account is to be connected to a key in DexNet.1, and there you deploy a virtual Dex node. It looks like a physical Dex node, but the only difference, you don't have to pay for the power, you don't need to pay for internet, you don't need to keep an eye on a stable internet rate, but you will have to pay for that account in the selected data center. And we went even further. There is very little demand for that cloud memory space because we haven't taken any clients on board yet. And it's unlikely that the users will find it uninteresting for themselves to pay for a virtual node, thus getting a small amount of tokens maybe for that. So we decided to do it differently. We decided to create an opportunity to integrate S3 data and connect them to our virtual node. It means that you register your virtual node in a pre-selected data center. Let it be DigitalOcean. You select a server in DigitalOcean. You select a format S3, and you don't pay for that server at all. Basically, you connect your banking card so that it is you're paid by that, but your card is not going to be charged until that cloud is going to be filled up by the memory files of the clients. So basically, it will be sizable to the amount used by your virtual node. By default, physical DEX nodes have 1 terabyte of SSD memory. In virtual nodes through SSD, 3 will connect a 1 terabyte SSD as well. And this one SSD terabyte with a maximum load costs about $20 per month. But you're not going to pay them those $20 because this virtual node will start storing a very small amount of data, let's say 10 gigabytes. And you will be paying some few cents per month for this, but the cloud will start charging up and filling up quickly. More disk space will be used, and at a certain moment in time, yes, we can come to a situation when maintenance of a virtual node might cost you, say, about $200 per year, but it will happen only when the whole cloud is fully busy and charged. By our calculation, it already means serious return rate, both for the DexNet company and the 40% that will be distributed among all the Dex node holders, be it physical or virtual ones. This way, let me summarize. Virtual node is a certain entity which is located on the one side in a data center which is beyond our control, and this is also its advantage because this data center is connected to a single network with our DexNet nodes, and the access to this virtual node is individually owned by people who have activated it for themselves. So the ecosystem is built this way in terms of the security and scalability in a very flexible and logical way. What other advantages can I name here? First advantage is that we have a product that we call virtual node. Absolutely any user can buy a key to that virtual node through a distributor's company and connect it within seconds without waiting for its delivery, and thus start generating DEX tokens through tokenomics after buying virtual node. But that's not all. That's not all. Most interestingly, is that virtual nodes are more accessible and affordable for the market than physical nodes. Over to you now, Igor. Yes. Well, before you start answering, guys, can you rate from 1 to 10 in the chat whether you understood what I've just explained? 10 means you understood everything. 1, I didn't understand anything. Okay, I see. 9, 10, 8, even 1, 1, 1. Mostly 10s. Okay, very good. If mostly we see 10s. Yes, it is going to be data center. The only difference is that we managed to use data centers in a decentralized way. Okay, tens. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Giving the floor to you, Igor, now. I will add one thing, and then we'll move to the next important slide. We are visualizing it this way for a reason, because within this core, we still have a network made up of physical nodes, the black coded physical nodes, and they're surrounded by virtual nodes. If you think they need to be connected one to another, no. If there were no core of the physical nodes, then you could be saying many things. But when you already have a core of more than 5,000 devices deployed in the network, communicating with each other, and the network working stably, it changes the whole story. But another thing, you could see that the slides are branded by X1 EcoChain and DexNode. Next week, we will announce a big launch of node sale from blockchain, where blockchain is going to lead the node sale, because nodes are quite relevant for the crypto industry. This is what blockchain projects and other projects are doing. And we decided also to develop that direction. You can see the colors and logos here. Now, to the most important thing, it is more or less clear, but what is the difference and which nodes by gradation can there be? We mentioned that they will be readily available for all, and it's important for you to hear and understand. We have physical DEX nodes and we will have virtual nodes. Physical nodes, their pricing can be seen here in the first column. First of all, the software price, the price of the license key, in other words, it will be $1,600. You will pay this money in distributors companies. Why? To make sure that there are no other questions, because on our side it was 245. Now it's going to be 145 only on the site. and the distributor's company will charge you 1,600. You'll pay 1,600, and the second payment is on DexNet.1 side 145. This way you will buy yourself a physical node. Now, it's very important to understand as of next week, we'll announce the exact date soon. We're going to announce 3 tiers of sales. That will be different stages through which we'll be selling physical nodes and virtual nodes. In the first tier one, we'll sell 1,000 physical nodes. What do those physical nodes deliver to the buyer? There are many other things added here. First, will continue to generate by tokenomics, as we can see with our own eyes. The existing tokenomics, it's about 80 tokens per day or more, depending on differently sized pools, like reward pool. We'll talk about it later. Next, you get DexNet 1 on virtual node. 15,000 coins x 1 coins is what virtual node will earn you. Hardware costs $145. How do I put it? For the memory storage space, you don't have to pay anything because you have a physical node that you keep at home. Besides, you have maintenance fee. You pay just 50 years for maintenance every year. But however, an important thing, you won't have to pay for the delivery because the delivery will be compensated by the company. The delivery is included into this 1,600 plus 145. This price point includes the delivery, so you won't have to care about the delivery price because is going to be included. Next, you will have to keep an eye on the DEX node. You understand you need to keep an eye on the DEX rate to keep it connected and plugged in. Another bonus to that, first, DexNet tokens, which you're going to earn by tokenomics anyway. You have X1 coin, which is going to be credited to your account as well. And also you will get a bonus additional to your buying physical node. You will have crypto cards DBN and 20 gigabytes of Dex Cloud. In the first tier, these kinds of bonuses we offer for physical Dex nodes. Now let's move over to virtual nodes. It's very interesting and everybody can see the benefits here for sure. We'll have Dex nodes starting with a maximum Dex rate 1. This is the biggest one for 1,500. To the farthest right, it's called V4. It will cost $1,500. You pay $1,500. That will sell a total of 4,000 nodes like that in the first tranche. You will get DexNet tokens, just like physical node, by the same tokenomics and the same amount as physical Dex node. Dex rate will always be 1 because that virtual node will be placed in data center and it's going to be super stable there. So you should understand your Dex rate will always be 1. In the physical node, everything depends on you. Next, you'll be earning 15,000 X1 coins, just like after buying physical node. You don't need to buy hardware, so you don't need to pay this $145. The maintenance fee for the service for 1 terabyte storage cost ranges from $0 to $200 per year. But to pay $200 per year, you need to make sure that the storage space is fully replenished. Initially, as Alexey said, when it's going to be activated, nobody's going to pay anything because virtual Dex nodes are not going to be used. As soon as they start to be filled up with memory, then you will start paying. Initially, you'll be paying just very few cents, and maybe 3-6 months after that, when we'll take on board new clients and that use memory space will be used up, maybe our clients will be paying 20-30 cents per month, something like that. That's why we have here 0 to 200 with a maximum load. Next, maintenance fee. When you pay $50, remains the same always, both for physical and virtual DEX nodes. Next, you don't have to pay for delivery because there is no delivery. You don't have to observe over its operation. You need to do it for physical nodes, but not for virtual DEX node. And the virtual DEX node for 1500 will give you a bonus as a DEX card and DEX PM. So in other words, those would be vouchers that you'll be able to use. So this is the virtual node for $1,500. Basically, you pay 1,500 and no other costs. Just $50 is the annual fee. Basically, it's going to be 1,550 that you pay initially, and everything depends on the use rate of your storage, and then you will start paying based on how well your memory storage is used. So $1,500 will buy you virtual node within 5 minutes. You'll be able to connect it and you'll be online. You don't have to wait for weeks or a few weeks for the delivery and think how to pay for the delivery. Everything can be activated within 5 minutes time. So this is the virtual node for 1500. But there are other options for those people who cannot afford the ultimate solution. There are options for 1000, option for 500, even there's an option for 200. This is a virtual node for $200, which gives you the same privileges, just proportionally less than the virtual node for 1500. You see here, you get up to 80 tokens per day. By Tokenomics, here you can earn 20 tokens per day or more, it says here, because everything depends on how servers are going to be pumped up by us. Stability or DEX rate keeps at this level. As you can see, the DEX rate is proportionally divided here, whereas $1,500 DEX node gives you 1 always stable DEX rate, V3 gives you 0.7, V2 gives you 0.4, and V1 gives you 0.2 DEX rate. In coins, there is also a difference, whereas the $1,500 DEX node will earn you 15,000 coins, V3 will give you 9,000 coins, V2 4,500, and V1 1,500 tokens. You can do your own math. It's super easy. If you think that it makes more sense to buy 2 or 3 $500 worth notes, I can tell you right away that it makes more sense to buy $1,500 V4 DEX node, because if you count all in, you will get more with the ultimate solution instead of buying a number of them at a lower price. Because there are coefficients and they work very well. It makes sense to upgrade to a more expensive product. It's a very interesting product because if you want to show a person or a client how the whole ecosystem works and how this DEX node system works, they can start with a minimum stage and then upgrade them to a maximum solution. But this way, they will also be connected to the ecosystem. They will understand how it works and how they earn tokens every day. So it's a mass market product, readily available for people that you can connect to, and you can easily scale up your business with that. The rest remains the same with virtual DEX nodes. The number of coins is changing, yes, but everything below that remains the same. And the bonuses will be the same for even for the $200 DEX node, you will get DEX card and DEX PM in form of vouchers, which can be activated. So tier 1 will be the first round when we'll be selling this virtual and physical nodes. Altogether, it will be 50,000 DEX nodes, 1,000 physical DEX nodes, and 49,000 virtual ones. It will be 50,000 at first year. And officially, it's going to be arranged as blockchain sponsored, and the crypto community is going to be part of that, and the big crypto foundations and companies. It's going to be scaled up very strongly. Next, I told you that there is tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. What is the difference between the tiers? Each tier will decrease the number of coins, X1 coins. For instance, here you get 15,000 coins on the virtual and physical node. In the second tier, it will be 12,000 coins, and so on. Proportionally, it will change, and bonuses will go. In the second tier, there will be no bonuses for virtual node V1. And the third tier again changes. It removes another voucher and the number of uh, coins credited changes. So each tier reduces the number of vouchers and reduces the number of coins that a person can get with a purchase. We mentioned previously that we're going to move over to node sale format when we mentioned that we're closing down the second round of X1 coins and we're going to be fully focused on the selling of node sale rounds. One will be selling nodes, and the nodes will include coins as packages. When a person buys a node, they will get double, even triple benefit. They are going to get DexNet tokens, which they can see on their account, and they get coins, which are credited to him by blockchain tokenomics. We're going to connect it to chat. You'll be able to see it because there is a certain percentage at the listing, which is unlocked there by 5 and 10%. Also, there is a certain lock for a certain period and vesting every month. We are going to show you everything. But the thing is that you are going both tokens and coins and vouchers. If we look at the voucher, DexCard alone and DexPN, DexCard costs about $50, DexPN costs about $60 per year. So it will get you $110 value as a gift aside from coins and DexNet tokens. Next, what I've just mentioned, there are vouchers. These vouchers, a person who will be getting a voucher, they will need to activate it within 30 days. If you don't activate it within 30 days, then it will become invalid. So the activation of the voucher should be done within 30 days after getting this voucher. Dex cards are going to be active until the card is valid. So the cards are usually issued for, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years, depending on the card type. DexPN is good for 1 year. So your voucher is good for 1 year. It will be like a gift for 1 year. And DexCloud also is good for 1 year. And yes, 1 year, 20 gigabytes are given to you for 1 year for free. If you want to continue, you will have to pay then. Now, it's more or less clear here. Can we get some feedback? Did it sound reasonable and understandable from your side? Can you rank it from 1 to 10, whether it was understandable for you? I see people are writing a lot of questions here. I want to clarify some things. First thing, maintenance fee 50 USDT per year. It doesn't cover those DEX notes which you have already purchased. It is true about virtual and physical DEX notes that are going to be sold now. Are we going to name the date now? Yes, why not? Which are going to be sold after the 31st of July. Yes, 31st of July, as long as you mentioned it, 31st of July, we're planning the launch of the sale of this format of virtual and physical DEX notes in this format. So now we announce it. We are preparing you, sharing information because we get a lot of feedback because people want to know it for sure. They want to prepare. They need some notice about this. So we are answering everything to you, and we have a week to prepare for this because next AMA session on July 31st, we're going to launch everything, and it's going to be live in production. You'll be able to buy either a virtual or a physical DEX node. Thank you, Igor. Yes, indeed. 31st of July, all the virtual and physical DEX nodes are going to be accompanied by maintenance fee of 50 USD per year. But still, both physical and virtual nodes are going to be accompanied by X1 coins. And generally speaking, the technical infrastructure is going to change a bit. Now, as for the questions, somebody wrote the data center is the end of decentralization. The logic is right, but it sounds like you caught only a couple of percent of what I was telling you about in the beginning. If it were only one data center, I would agree that is the end of decentralization. But if we're talking about the fragments of files migrating from one data center to another, it means that decentralization continues. The encryption, the splitting of files, here the physical DEX nodes are responsible for that. And next, what they do in a is submitted to data centers, to the virtual DEX nodes. And then among the virtual DEX nodes, the files are migrating. Now, most interesting thing, the legal and physical vulnerability in this format is totally unacceptable or excluded. Each virtual node belongs to a natural person, right? Each virtual node belongs to a natural person, as well as the access to his or her account. As for the legal security, by blocking one single account of one single user or a number of users, is not going to affect in any way the storage integrity of our data, because the copies of those fragments located in other data centers, both physical and virtual. This is the first thing. Secondly, data center doesn't see which information is moving from one server to another. These are encrypted portions of the code. This way, neither data center nor the owner of the virtual DEX node have any responsibility for the files stored there, because they cannot even be called the end information, because it's just a fragment of encrypted code. The responsibility for files integrity is borne only by those people who place it there. And they have this responsibility in front of them or the God Almighty, because nobody will find out what they keep there as files. This is as far as the legal part is concerned. Now, physical vulnerability. Data centers are disseminated among continents, both physically and legally. They're different companies. That's why migration between them of fractions of encrypted files allows us to quickly scale it up. In 2 years' time, we have accumulated about 5,300 DEX nodes. It's laughable. Come on, guys. Somebody wrote here, and I want to ask them how many DEX nodes have you sold personally? This way will take us 100 more years to develop. And we want to implement this technology while we're still alive and bequeath it to our children and grandchildren, and leave this world with the understanding that we have changed it. But at this rate, we are not going to do that. We won't be able to take on board real big clients, because I don't want minor clients, because we have only big partnerships. Even through Chic, we have contacts that other companies are only dreaming about. They would be praying for having such a client, and we cannot take them on board just yet, because we have just 5 petabytes of memory so far. I don't know how to behave at the meetings when people come in and say, okay, we are prepared to test, store some unbillable technology, but we need 8 petabytes. We cannot deliver 8 stable petabytes at the moment. And we're sitting here smiling like we've been working for 2 years, but what have we done? Just 5,000 X nodes. It's not for real, guys. And the option we see here is to scale up with a special technology through virtual DEX nodes. Look at the PS3 data storage technology. And with this, we can scale up quickly. And we understand that you will find it useful, because there are countries that are very difficult to reach out with the delivery services of DEX nodes. It's too expensive, doesn't make sense. Some people wrote to us that's a very good instrument that Brazil needs. Yes, indeed. Now Latin American market, European market, Asian market, and so on. There are different continents where we'll have both data center, or rather we have already placed them there. But the key thing is that the login and password for the access to virtual DEX node is owned by individual users. And for the single fact that the user is storing this login and password, we're accrediting to them DexNet tokens. Guys, we could have simply taken 5 petabytes or 10 petabytes in one data center, another data center, 10 petabytes are rented in each data center, and include it into our decentralized technology and sell it, resell it to our corporate client. It would be decentralized. Yes, everything is good, with the simple exception that I or my team members will have access to these data centers, which spells out vulnerability. It's a risk for my team, it's a risk for technology, and risk for the client's data who will place them there. So we decided to come up with a decentralization where each user will own just a login and password to the personal uh, our back office of each data center, and that data center wouldn't even know whether it is one of our people or somebody else who rented it there. There is no connection, no verification, nothing whatsoever. Now try to imagine when we have big chance until the end of the year to build a network of virtual DEX nodes made up of thousands, tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands such DEX nodes. I think the virtual node for 200 USDT can be afforded by virtually everyone and start earning DexNet tokens just simply by having login and password to their virtual DEX node. That's right, exactly. I see more questions coming in from the 31st, and all the DEX nodes bought after 31st of July will have to pay every year $50 for the maintenance fee. Yes, that's what you'll have to pay. And the development that comes and by token and coin, because you'll be getting both tokens and two coins, makes it worthwhile, I think, for you. $50 is quite affordable for all. Igor, another correction. Uh, Yuri, not everybody, only those DEX nodes that will be bought after the 31st of July. The ones which are bought before that date, the ones which are bought tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, the ones which are bought on 30th of July won't have to pay the maintenance fee of $50, but they will have a somewhat different package included. And these are not all the benefits that I mentioned here. Let's go through this so that people understand this. Many things are not clear. Up to 80 tokens will be getting the new virtual nodes. That's how much we get. Yes, because the same tokenomics would apply to them as well. For physical, the ones before that and new physical ones will additionally get also both the X1 coins and vouchers as of 31st of July. All these bonuses will be part of buying the DEX node. Zoom user. Uh, what about the coin? If I bought the DEX node earlier, will I get my coins credited to my account? No. You will get X1 coins credited to your account even only if you buy it after 31st of July. The number of virtual DEX nodes is limited. Yes, the number of virtual DEX nodes is limited. Can I ask you to show the slides with this information? Yes. Here we have tier one physical virtual nodes of all categories. You can see their number here. $200 V1 will have 20,000, 15,000 V2 DEX nodes, 10,000 V3 DEX nodes, and 4,000 V4 DEX nodes. There is a limited number of sales. Those people who do it fast will get all these bonuses. In subsequent tiers, there will be a reduction both in the coins and the number of vouchers. Mikhail is writing, thank you, Igor. Johan, do you mean to say that reward pool is going to be washed up? Yes, reward pool is going to be washed up to cover DEX nodes as well, virtual nodes, but there will be another pool connected that will mention at the end. So it's going to be tasty, even in this format that we managed to you. If you find it interesting, it's good. But at the end, we'll tell you about yet another pool which will be connected to it and where it gets its tokens from. Basically, there is always every cloud has its silver lining. We haven't mentioned the cherry on top yet. Just wait a little bit. How corporate clients are going to buy their huge memory storage spaces for USDT fiat by bank transfer or DexNet tokens. It's Speaking Club asking this question. Different formats are open for us. There are clients who will be signing contracts and they will be paying to the settlement account of the company directly to Dubai if they're Emirate company. This is the most convenient way for them. Some companies want to save 20%. For them, it's no problem to buy to their balance some assets in form of DexNet tokens and pay with them for the service rendered, especially considering that DexNet token is not just a token, but it's a virtual asset, which is protected by IP rights and is fully linked to the company. The owner of DexNet token, in fact, is a shareholder, is owner of shares of the company. If I use simple words, of course, lawyers might disagree with how I put it, but I try to make it more understandable in layman's terms. Igor is asking next question. Hello. When the cards are going to be launched, the ones which are not serviced with, which start with the numbers 461. Igor, we're totally changing the supplier of cards. The card supplier that worked with 461, they got punished by the regulator and they cannot continue using those cards, and we cannot resell those cards again. But at the same time, we still have another card supplier with a different numerical sequence starting with 5 that we had it in DexSafe, but they work only with NFC iOS. You will be able to use only iPhone devices to make payments. And now we're trying to integrate a number of other suppliers with other cards that will be available both for iOS and Android. But again, we have to decide whether it is going to be accompanied by KYC or not. Very soon we'll prepare a working solution and then we'll roll it out to you. Ruslan is writing next question. Is it so old DexNode holders are going to be left without any coins? Well, old um, early adopters are going to be left with tokens. Well, anyway, early adopters who started from the very beginning, in the beginning of the tokenomics, they were getting up to 30,000 tokens per day or per month. And also the early adopters buying first DEX nodes, they will be quite happy that we'll finally will be able to take on board decent partners. And the payments, even if we look at the payments in tokens, 40% is distributed among all the DEX node holders. So the influx of cash flow will be much greater. Now we have about 20 tokens per day, basically per node. I have also owned 2 DEX nodes. It's not that much on the one hand. On the other, these are tokens which are undervalued, underappreciated. And secondly, we'll start having clients and those tokens, those 20, 23 tokens, it can be different every day. You'll start seeing more of them every day. Next important thing, X1 coins are limited even for physical DEX nodes. We'll have just 1,000 physical DEX nodes with such commission of 50 USDT per year. And with this X1 on the balance, only 1,000 of them. Basically, we are launching this model to scale up our business as quickly as possible, share with the users of X1, with our users X1 coins, and start taking on board something decent. Okay, today is a historical day. I understand that now I can store in the internet anything I want without the fear of censoring. Not in the internet, but in the cloud, because internet is what is available for all. But what you will keep in the cloud will be available only to you. It's like keeping it on a memory stick or on a disk. I think with a disconnection of internet is a saving grace. It's not so obvious. What I mentioned a couple of years ago about the internet blackouts or power blackouts, now it's coming to realization. And we are entering this year with just 5,000 DEX nodes. We can use them for encryption of data, for some other tasks, but for storage of data, it's just 5 petabytes. We cannot take on board even one single distant client with this. How much is the token on the exchange nowadays? You can look it up. You're wasting my time and the time of other people, what you can do yourself. It's 0.026 or 24. Igor is writing X1 coins, which are going to be credited to virtual DEX nodes, are going to be available right away. Are they going to be locked? If yes, then for what time and when they're going to be unlocked? they won't be available right away. I will pass the floor to Igor. Yes, I will tell you that initially certain percentage of them will, like 5% will be available to you when the listing will be announced. At the moment of listing, you will get 5% of your coins available. Then there will be a cliff or like lock period for a year, and then 1/12 every month you will get it unlocked. We'll provide everything in a separate presentation by showing how it's going to work in terms of tokenomics. We have a separate presentation about blockchain and blockchain tokenomics. Later on, we'll try to link it to that presentation. You'll be able to use those links and see its tokenomics. So it's important to understand that there's going to be a certain number in the beginning. You'll be able to use it, and then there will be cliff vesting. We must have it, otherwise tokenomics will never work. Thank you, Igor. People are writing it's out of this world. Victoria says that's a perfect solution. You know what you're doing, and we fully support you. Thank you, Victoria, for your trust. Lydia, we're all with you. Thank you. Yuri is writing, is there going to be plus 50 tokens per day for virtual nodes? Yes. Very good solution. That's what Jean-Paul is writing. Sergey is writing, will physical nodes continue to be sold as before? Yes, they will continue to be sold as before. But we have a hope that virtual DEX nodes will expand our cloud and we'll be able to take at least one decent big major client on board. Can we upgrade the virtual DEX nodes? Yes, you will be able to upgrade your virtual DEX nodes. You can start with a minimal priced one at 200 and then move upwards. What are the advantages of the first devices sold? It's hard to go through considering that the first devices are no longer available for sale anymore. So initial devices by tokenomics were getting the biggest number of tokens. Talking about node sale that will be launched on in tier 1, and they will get the biggest number of bonuses in coins X1, in vouchers, and so on. In fact, there are always benefits to be among the earliest adopters. Tatiana is writing, I am surely going to buy a virtual DEX node for 1500. Why should you fund data centers? The first question. Second question, when are you going to install when can I install my virtual node on my own computer or PC? We are funding data centers because they're legal and physically better protected than your PC to a certain extent, of course. But most importantly is the throughput capacity and the stability of the operation. On the virtual DEX nodes, the DEX rate is going to be stable because of certain reason. Because the uptime of service in DigitalOcean, for instance, 99.99999 something, which means that virtually always the server is readily available online. If we're talking about virtual DEX node that you will need to deploy on your computer, first, you need to have 1 terabyte of available memory there. Secondly, you need to have very strong internet. And third thing that I'm bothered about the most, once I had an experience when I was building a network in a company where we were using PCs. I don't want to use the same association, even though we are using this real technology that in theory can be launched on PCs as well. But those people who understand what I'm talking about understand what it can lead to. It can make your life and our lives much more difficult. You'll have to keep an eye on that. You'll have to keep an eye on the parameters of your computers. Make sure that they're always connected. We're talking about huge resources that will make your and our life more inconvenient. Basically, there are always things disconnecting, power going down, but data centers are always online and very stable. I'll be honest with you, we looked in that direction to use computers because what we were not sure about is that data centers for virtual node, you have to pay data centers for that. And that thing bothered us the most. We thought, or rather, were thinking how to make sure that the users enter it, activate the virtual DEX nodes in data centers, and what kind of motivation they must have to pay data centers if, in order to take a client on board, they don't need one or 10 or 100 virtual uh, DEX nodes. And for that, we need time to scale up. Either we need to airdrop huge numbers of tokens, and we still wouldn't have big clients. It would be, we'd create too much cash flow, which wouldn't be backed up by revenues. And we decided to create a solution when you would start paying data centers only when some data will be stored on your DEX node and becomes more convenient than a physical PC, especially if you don't want to own one or a few DEX nodes with physical computers. It's a huge problem. You need to keep them constantly connected. You wouldn't believe, but we have even developed a client which works with iOS, with Linux, and we even start working with Windows to use it there. We thought to expand it this way. We looked at the another option of expansion by connecting external hard drives to physical DEX nodes. We looked at different solutions, but if external hard drives connected, we have only 5,000 of them. Can it really scale them up? Well, you can scale it, but not that much. With the virtual DEX nodes, we understand that we can do it much quicker on a grander scale. And also, X1 eco chain in crypto industry, there is a general trend for virtual nodes. Node sale in the crypto world is something new, interesting, and it draws attention. And we understand we can use this trend and kill two birds with one stone. And the first bird for us is that we are entering the crypto industry with a new trend. And the second bird is that we do not use trend for the sake of it. No, because we have a need for that. And that really closed the cycle of our solution. It was an ideal marriage. And I believe that everything is done for a reason. And another question, coins are going to be credited once or every times? Yes, X1 coins are going to be credited only once for tier one. Jumping ahead of myself, this nodes within those tiers will also participate in some airdrops, which will be organized within a spell of 1, 2, 3 months. But at this moment in time, the number of coins that you can see in those boxes, this is the number of coins that is going to be fixed, which is going to be credited to your account. And the number is not going to change. But I promise that it's going to be more interesting than Vitaly Rusic is asking next question. Alex and Igor, you're doing great. Perfect solution. Many people can afford to buy this at this low pricing point. Yes, Vitaly, I fully agree. You have highlighted the right thing here. There are people, or rather, I can put it differently. $1,500 is for an absolute number of people in the world. This is quite a sizable amount of money. And not every person is prepared to risk this much. But a person can enter the decentralization theme at the pricing point of, say, $200. Why not? By trying to earn some tokens, try to sell it at the exchange, see how it works. And after that, they make a conscious solution to upgrade to 1500 V4 node, or gradually jumping from V1 to V2 to V3 and V4. But this way, we will capture the biggest portion of the market and will be able to consistently scale up our business. Anton is writing, what happens after tiers? Will I be able to buy virtual DEX nodes after the pre-sale? Look, now we have a specific task that we want to solve in such a way, in such ways that we were doing it before. it takes too long. And I realized that, okay, forget it. Otherwise, it will take us for too long. And with this format, we cannot move too long. Some of our competitors can do it quicker than us. And it would be a pity for us because we were the first who implemented this technology 2 years ago. We already generated a cloud for testing. We have generated MVP so that people could work with the cloud. But in terms of the load on this cloud, I see that we need to work with corporate clients to compete with Google in terms of user friendliness. It will be too foolhardy. In terms of security, of course, we can compete, but a regular individual user doesn't require that much security. But the company does. And last year we had a meeting, Igor and I, with the representatives of Shika from Abu Dhabi, had who needed totally secure space, like tens of petabytes of memory space for total secure storage. And those guys came to our office twice. We were discussing it, and they are sitting and waiting. A year has passed, and I feel uncomfortable already. If they come again to us, how will we look? We'll keep sitting and say to them that, okay, we grew up by a few petabytes. They are not going to wait for us for sure. So we need to scale up. We need to do it quicker. In other words, we have a limited number of virtual and physical nodes in tiers. After that, perhaps there are two options possible. First option, either we're going to move forward like nowadays, maybe we'll have another tier, or maybe it'll change. Maybe we'll understand that we have enough of those clients and we'll switch over to services only. And all those people who own this limited number of virtual or physical DEX nodes, they're doing the great job. Others will close the access to that for them because, okay, enough is enough. We have the cloud, we have corporate clients there, they have fixed needs in terms of the amounts of data to be stored, and we provide this service to them. Then physical nodes, if we would have 5, 10, 15 physical DEX nodes, we can develop services that we have. Or maybe another corporate client comes to us asking us for 15, 20 petabytes. Okay, we'll start selling another certain number of physical virtual nodes for a specific client because it makes no way to work with a lack of cash flow because for services we get not enough. 20 tokens per day is not the super volumes that we were eyeing at the beginning. We found the solution. The solution, according to our calculation, math, and analysis and preliminary negotiations with the clients who want to use the storage, must prove to be absolutely working. And even if our community are not going to catch up on that, although it is highly unlikely, I still understand where we can implement it. So basically, we're going to have this cloud anyway, and we'll have those corporate clients. So business is a story when some people will tell you that business model is calculated for 5, 7, 10 years, and we're going to move ahead like this. That person is, I think, cheating because the world is changing so quickly that if the person is not flexible enough and is not capable of changing for the conditions of the market, they're going to wither and die. Even the Darwin said that it's not the survival of the strongest, but the survival of the fittest. That's how it sounds in English. Another thing I can add here is that if you look at numbers, in each tier we have 50,000 DEX nodes. In 3 tiers, we're selling 150,000 DEX nodes. Even those nodes are going to be for $200. Everybody who will be buying will book and buy a DEX node for $200. They can upgrade it to a $1,500. Even if we run out of tiers, if then they have a $200 V1 virtual node, they will be able to upgrade it to the ultimate V4 variety. It's 150,000 terabytes available if we fill up it with everything we have. Just as Alexis said, at the moment when we sell all three tiers, at that moment in time, we'll understand what can be done. But the world is changing, and maybe we'll have to fit another challenge. But those people who will catch this train, what is included here, they'll be able to get it. It doesn't really matter. Even if you book now a node for $200, $500, you'll be able to upgrade it to 1500. Even if all the nodes run out dry at the end of tier three, you'll be able to upgrade it, and it's a possibility. So I guess the plan is clear. As soon as the three tiers close down, we'll tell you what you can do with that onwards, because we understand much will scale up. 150 terabytes is something really sizable. We'll be able to talk to big major clients. I'm looking for other interesting questions now. Maybe we can move over to the news. I saw some interesting questions there. Yes, everything is going to be available for staking. It works in the same manner, just that the proportions change. The prices are different and proportions change as well. In terms of the coin, everything works by the same algorithm, just like with everybody else. There's tokenomics, unlocking at the listing for 5%, and then it continues working by tokenomics. Mikhail Tara, after alt season, there will be a regulation season. Will it go through the regulation of SECA? First, the regulation has started already. It's like a quiet war where cryptocurrency has been introduced into the gray zone. Actually, in every country, there is a law which says that only the cryptocurrency which is traded one to one with a local currency, and it's not Tether, guys. So as a result, one to one to national currency, only CBDC can be traded. And those people who understand about this will understand what I'm talking about. So the regulation has already been launched. So in other words, everything which is not traded one to one in the national currency by default is outlawed. What is happening to DexNet token, and the same is waiting for X1 token. DexNet is registered as shares of the company, and they're linked to the IP rights. This is a model that allows us to work with a DexNet token in the real sector of economy. This is like a bridge which is legally built from the virtual sector of economy to real sector of economy. And we are almost not covered by all the changes happening in crypto industry as far as our token is concerned, because our token from the virtual sector of economy is moved over to the real sector of economy. And all those legislations which were developed for hundreds of years in the real sector of economy, stable, understandable, and predictable, covers us. Whatever goes through securities and SEC is not our jurisdiction. We work in a totally different legal plane, and that's where we're Sanjara and X1 are going. I'll add another thing additional to all that, considering that legally everything is super predictable. And when we're talking to other lawyers and so on, they tell us it's genius, really, and they don't understand how it could happen. And blockchain, Sanjar works as our advisor, who would have never put his reputation on stake for something unworthy, and to become our advisor, understanding that we're not moving in the right direction or something is wrong with us. Legally, it would be a suicide for him. If you look at the official site of X1, you will see Sanjar, his presentation there. Why? Because he agreed to endorse us completely, and he is covering us legally completely. Additional to that, we have a total decentralization of blockchain. If somebody wants to tell us that, okay, put a stop to your blockchain, how can we put a stop to that? It doesn't stop. Just tell people not to use it, not to do anything there, but it cannot be stopped. So here, I guess everything is super clear. That's why in the US territory, we don't work with the United States, for instance, not because we are afraid of them, because we are protected there as well. We just don't want to have extra trouble. Okay, let's move on. Have you seen any other questions? Well, I see a lot of questions here. Some of them off the topic. I suggest let's move to the actual presentation because we've been here for more than 1 hour. I guess we can postpone it for another AMA session. Okay, agreed. Guys, we couldn't just pass one important thing because there are two other pieces of news that we wanted to share with you today. And I guess you will enjoy these announcements a lot. There was another question about this 50 tokens per day, that they are going to be true until 31st of August. I have an announcement to make that this tokens, 50 tokens per day, for those nodes that are going to be bought in those 3 tiers, those up to 50 tokens per day, this promo will stay there until we have the reserve of tokens in reserve pool. They will be distributed there. We're not nixing this promo. This promo will continue for DEX nodes ending up in tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And it will continue this promo until we have enough tokens to distribute in that pool. I will explain what reserve pool is. It's like an airdrop for tokenomics for 60 months. And you know that we had a plan that we followed that predetermined how many tokens will be distributed per day. We had a plan how many nodes have to be sold to distribute this 1 billion in 6 months. So basically, we're lagging behind from that, and every 30 days, the reserve pool keeps like 90, 85% of that reserve pool remains undistributed, so that undistributed reserve pool is added to that promo of 50 tokens per day. So this 50 tokens per day will continue to exist. So it's basically more than 900 million tokens that we still have, and those tokens will continue to be distributed among those people who will end up in those first 3 tiers of sales. And people who will buy those DEX nodes will see 50 tokens per day credited to their account. But there is a certain algorithm by which the number of tokens is going down if the price of token is going up, of course. We explained it before. I'm not going to talk too much about it. Well, the price is at this moment, it's going to be 50, then it's going to be 50, 30, 20 tokens. But while we still have this 900 million tokens through this monthly circulations, they're going to be distributed. And we're talking about a huge number of tokens, and every one of you can be part of that for the next a few years because we're going to distribute this 900 million tokens. So this is the kind of news we have, but it's not all. We have yet another announcement to make. Very important announcement. We are prepared to do that. We announce that as of 31st of August, when we'll launch the first tier of node sale, the virtual nodes can be bought for DexNet tokens at 20% discount. 20% discount. We didn't reduce it to 5 or 10, but the same 20% discount. And the token will be used in services. We give you 20% discount to all people who are buying virtual DEX nodes. You can do it with DexNet tokens. This promo will be active for 90 days from the 31st of August, almost like the 31st of July until the 1st of November 2025, inclusive, from the 31st of July until the 1st of November. And everybody will be able to buy a virtual node Doesn't matter at what price point, 200, 500,000 or 1500, you'll be able to get a 20% discount. And it's quite a sizable discount. Instead of 1500, you buy it at 1200 or something, right? I know what else can be added here. Everybody who will be participating in that tier in the first year, actually in the first year it's like 90 days, and the first year can be closed earlier than 90 days. So please participate. If you want to get a discount like this, you can get a 20% discount on the virtual nodes starting from the sale time on 31st of July until 1st of November. So this is the kind of news we have to share with you. How do you like it? Please rate it. Yes, I see fire signs. Mamma mia. While people are writing their feedback, I'd like to read a comment. Alia Faskhudinova is writing, Titanic work done by you legally beforehand. Most of the people on the market, unfortunately, won't be protected from blocking their money on crypto wallets. In fact, this is a very good comment. Thank you, Alia. 99.9% of crypto enthusiasts don't really understand what's going on the market. I'm calling everybody crypto enthusiasts, whoever holds one USDT on their wallet and so far doesn't know how to transfer it to another wallet and where to get coins for the gas money. I also call them crypto enthusiasts. And all those guys don't understand what's going on. Many people want to keep their assets in crypto currency in bitcoins, hoping that this is an alternative to the existing financial model, but nobody fully realizes who launched this. And I cannot reveal everything just now, but I assure you, when you find out who really developed Bitcoin, and you are going to learn it very soon, you're going to run away from that like a plague. And all other cryptocurrencies will experience an interesting story. If it's not CBDC, it's going to be illegal and it's going to be prosecuted by the law. So please be ready for that. That's why people are given some leeway to or allowed to transfer their fiat money into cryptocurrency. That's why they're playing with bull market or bear market. It's done for a reason. Just try to think who and why are doing this and who is controlling this. We understand this. Igor understands this. I understand this. And the circles who we communicate with understand this. That's why we had no other alternative aside from going in the right legal direction beforehand, because what we're doing here, this is the matter of our life. See, look at Igor. He is wearing a t-shirt with X1 on it. A person wearing a branded t-shirt, and I can say the same about all our team members. We understand why we're doing it, what we're doing it for, where we're moving. This is the business of our life, and we cannot allow it to wither and die. We don't want some other hiccups to make our lives more difficult. That's why we keep an eye on all this. We keep our eye on the general global trends in the financial world and what needs to be done to be afloat at the moment when everything will start collapsing. And we're very close to that. The rats have eaten holes through many blockchains and communities. I'm talking about legal holes, and water starts coming in. In fact, a huge change is happening in the crypto industry. The Bitcoin is going to break all-time records. People only now start talking about this, but be very attentive and be vigilant, because it's always been like this on the market. You will never understand or predict or guess how and when it will happen. Here, we want to build a strong foundation, a kind of foundation and the ecosystem where it will be super predictable and understandable how it's going to grow, at what rate, and which numbers we can ensure. Because there is general understanding if we build a strong foundation and we'll have strong support to everything that we're doing with good explanation, because some people don't understand our explanation of the tokenomics, why it is here. I would have given more. Why don't you distribute more tokens? Because, guys, everything is based on math. We live on math. So if there is no math to back it up, it's not going to last for long. But you and us, everybody wants this business to survive, to grow and develop for years so that we can bequeath it to our children. And we are working on this. We're sharing everything we have. We want it to work in this exact way because there is such a technology in our hands, and we are equipped with everything we need. If you want to go into investments, we have it. We have technology in place. We have services. If you look at it, they all can simplify our lives much more. Here you can make some money. Here you can get access to a technology and be active participant of all of that. Most importantly, is the journey that we're using here. The journey itself is the biggest fun. Many people fail to understand that what we're doing now is unique, and everybody here with us, all of us together, are part of this history in the making. And 1, 2 years from now, we'll be smiling, rewatching this recording, thinking we recorded it just 1 or 2 years ago, and the whole world has changed. We have a technology, we have blockchain. Alexey will prove that I'm right. Yesterday and today, he saw what kind of guys we're negotiating with. I guess when we'll add all of them, all those names in the list, you will see who we are partnering up with, the guys and the foundations and blockchains who want to cooperate with us. You will be really surprised and taken aback by this because you might look at those projects as something out of this world, like Solana, Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, and others. We're no worse than them by any token, and those people who are coming to us reconfirm it again, again, and again. Thank you, Igor. Thank you. Guys, we've been live for an hour and a half. Can you provide some feedback how valuable you found today's broadcast? How useful was the information that we shared with you today? Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you very much. I guess what we told you today will lose you some sleep. It can really turn over the whole world around you. So pre be prepared, or be squared. Next AMA session is slated for the 31st of July. That's when you can start paying for virtual nodes. If you want to buy cheaper, convert your USDTs into DexNet tokens and buy it at 20% discount. That's when we are going to show it to you, and the whole mechanism is going to be launched. I'm waiting hard for that because there are things that will show the result right away, and you will see it with your own eyes. So I guess with this kind of instrument, you just need to grab it and scale it up. On this very positive note, it's not all, guys. After the launch, we have prepared something else for you because July and August are the months of very positive announcements and launches for our company. And I'm eagerly anticipating what awaits us. I guess that's all for now. Yeah, it's more than enough. Before the MA session, Igor tells me, okay, let's tell them this, let's tell them that. No, no, no. I tell him, no, let's leave something for the 31st of July. Okay, we have shared some news with you today. We tried not to overload you with information. If I was too technical, I'm sorry for that, but it's quite a difficult subject matter for understanding. But if you understand it once, everything will fall in its place. We'll do a few more AMA sessions. Maybe I will do some drawings on the tablet PC to show how technically we will integrate virtual nodes with the DexNet safe. What about Dex phone? Mikhail, you're running ahead of us. here. We have shared too much dopamine already. Some people are writing, you have intrigued us with the Bitcoin. Don't blindly believe everything that you see around you. Even what we tell you, check and recheck what we're telling you. The best way is for you to dig deep and find the true information that you own it. You are doomed to find a lot of interesting things. Okay, guys, hugs and kisses to all of you. Thank you, Igor, for explaining many things. Likewise, Alex, thank you for the participation. I thank the team, I thank our interpreter, and all of you for the participation. And let's prepare for 31st of July so that we are 3 times more numerous next time and that we launch it really so it can take off to the moon. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the week. Bye bye.